and that, I'm afraid, was that my marriage had been wrecked by my stress and depression.
Do you miss her much?
Yes, it is very lonely. I do miss having her around. But I wouldn't say I get upset now, but I do get extremely wistful and wish things had turned out differently.
Right. So we're going to talk about firstly. We're going to talk about your life growing up in different sections. So
Okay.
at the minute, I just want you to sort of introduce yourself. Tell me who you are.
Okay.
Yeah, go from there really.
All right then. Right. Okay. Right. Good morning. My name's Chris. I'm 53 years old. I moved here back in summer of '91, so I've been here a long time. I've suffered with depression on and off since my teens, although it got a lot worse in the last 10 odd years, and it's really, at one time it practically took over and destroyed my life, so I've had to make a lot of changes as a result, because it's also quite badly physically affected me along the way with stress and high blood pressure leading to all sorts of physical problems. I've had it treated in the last few years by some therapists. Once I finally admitted I had a serious problem and got some help. This is a very useful implement, this, because beforehand I was kept overfilling it and boiling water was going everywhere. So one of the care services gave me this so that I could actually know when the mug was getting full with boiling hot water. I was born in northwest Kent back in the early 60s. I was a product of the early 60s baby boom. I grew up, I had parents, I had an elderly grandmother who looked after me most of the time because my parents were out and both worked. I went to a local school and then to grammar school, which is actually where a lot of the problems started. I had two elder brothers who I didn't actually see most of because they were a lot older. They'd both been born in the 40s, so they'd more or less moved out by the time I was born. My original ambition when I was growing up, I wanted to be a pilot, which is ironic considering that's what my profession, what my daughter has now become. Modern period of depression really started to get on top of me. I'd done very well for this company. I joined a company of chartered accountants, and I'd done very well sorting out a client that we were outsourced to, so much so that they'd actually offered me a promotion to go and take up one of the big positions in London in the main head office rather than one of the satellites. And I remember going down to the company toilets downstairs and just repeatedly banging my head hard against the wall because I thought, I do not want this. I cannot cope with this. It is really destroying me what I'm doing. So actually although I started getting help then, but it was possibly too little, too late. I also started looking around for a job, a one where I couldn't be successful, basically, because I always found I was happier in the more sort of like maybe primitive jobs is the wrong one, but more with the less formal jobs where it was more relaxed, laid back atmosphere, not as stiff, starchy, everybody in suits one, if you see what I mean. I first met my wife Ingrid at Dartford railway station in April '86. It's ironic, I can remember things then perfectly clearly, but my short-term memory is really sketchy, so I couldn't even tell you what I was doing 10 minutes ago. We hit it off from practically the word go. We seemed to, I guess we were both shy, we had so many things in common. We really seemed to like the same things, like nature, walks in the country, animals, things like that. I really liked dogs and pets. She used to like horses and pets. And within about 3 months of meeting, we proposed. And I can really remember exactly where it was, because it was at Hesketh Park in Dartford early on a Saturday morning. And I said, and we were married within about 10 months of first meeting. I was 24 when we got married, and she was 20, and both of us were completely broken. For the first few months we lived down at a tiny little flat in Gillingham, Kent, which didn't work out, so then we moved to Berkshire, stayed with Ingrid's parents for a time, and then quickly got a house in Cemetery Junction, which is in East Reading, and then we were very happy. Like I said, I would be lying if I'd saying it wasn't easy, because it's always a challenge for new people starting off a life together when they haven't got much, but we did really make a go of it. Another favourite trick I used to have was putting this down while the heat gas burners were still on. We were going to burn the top a couple of times. So they put these markers on my knobs where I can actually see when the thing's off.
I see. Oh yeah.
It is a good idea, yes.
So who put those on?
Working care services.
Yeah.
My daughter, she was born in '89, and I can honestly say it was probably about one of the happiest days of my life. Whether it was that or my wedding, I'm not sure, because the wedding always was so much of a blur. Everything was done at such a frantic race, seeing everybody being everywhere, that you really didn't have time to sit back and enjoy it. Well, my daughter's birth, like I said, I was really happy. I would have possibly have liked more children, but Kirsty was such a joy, particularly when she was growing up. She was bossy from the word go. She was used to take charge, particularly whenever we had a crisis, and it was just such good fun with her. If you like, she really always wanted to do everything, and if you like, bought both me and Ingrid out of our shells a little bit, because she was the exact opposite to us. She was really friendly, outgoing, and wanted to be involved in absolutely everything. She was always so good and smiling, and would always insist on you joining in with her, particularly if she was playing, like she wanted you to play with a train set or with a garage, and it was impossible, like I said, not to feel depressed and going to like a little shell, literally. These days, of course, now she's 25, she's got a boyfriend. She does live very close, but we don't unfortunately get to see as much of one another as I guess either of us would like. We still chat regularly on the phone or by email, which is not the same as seeing her, but she's always asking me sort of like, how's Oscar the dog, what have you been doing? A couple of years ago she actually got what do you call it, a writ of attorney over me, so she could actually sign for things on my behalf, which has actually been one less thing to worry about. Like I said, she was very good at sorting things out and cutting through to the chase. So I am very grateful for that, because then with that not to worry about, I could then concentrate more on trying to get better. 89, so she was coming up for 8, nearly 8 when that was taken. Yeah, so that was a lovely picture. Growing up, as Kirsty was good growing up, there was, I can honestly say I was very happy, and for a long time my depression, which like I said had dogged me on and off in my teens, seemed to take something of a back seat, simply because you could never be depressed with Kirsty was around. She was always such a happy, outgoing child. She always wanted to do something, be somewhere, investigate something. So like I said, she was literally a joy, and she taught us as much as as we were teaching her. And yes, she was very happy, always wanting to do things, and I can honestly really say that was probably about the happiest ever time of my life when she was growing up. Alright, Oscar, he's this extremely toppy and slobbery golden retriever. We've had him since he was a pup, and after my breakup of my marriage, and I was really down and in a very dark place, somebody suggested, well, why didn't you get Oscar properly trained up and registered as your helping companion dog? And it was a big relief also for Kirsty as well. So that's what we did. Now, I personally didn't think Oscar would be any good at it, despite the fact he came from the right sort of background and family, because I always thought he was a bit, daft basically, and thick as two short planks. But he took to it very easily, and I reckon now that if he knew what being a helper and a companion dog entailed, he would have signed up, put his paw on the dotted line as soon as he could, because he gets to take me to places. He loves meeting and greeting people. I mean, in some ways he actually opened up my life, because it's impossible for me to sit here and feel sorry for myself. He's a great one for dragging me literally out the house and meeting people. Because now I've had him, I think I've met far more people than I ever met in a lifetime. Like I said, he's brilliant, particularly going up and chatting to people. He even got a job for a time in one of the ESME units locally, but unfortunately we had to stop that because they kept feeding him the wrong things. But he's great. He's really good at bringing people out of their shells, and all he wants to do is be cuddly and get people to make a fuss of him. Yeah, Oscar's loves attention, loves having his photo taken, loves having his tummy rubbed, don't you? Because you're such a big soppy donut, aren't you? You're a big cuddle bun, aren't you, Oscar? And Oscar's brilliant when he's working, either taking me places around the hospital, and because I can't remember even how I felt way back to the entrance, so I just tell him, Oscar, come on, let's go, get me out, take me back to the exit, and he remembers the code word exit, so he just takes the lead in his mouth and drags me back there, if I'm lucky. Sometimes he might stop at the cafeteria on his way if he's feeling peckish. He will follow me around like this, just in case I have a fall. I have actually fallen on a few occasions. Get your nose out of my ear. Coming. Here's a good dog. Yeah, hang on, shoes on. Yeah, ready for action. Right, boss. You've got the lead. Take me to about 21 bus stop, alright? 21 bus stop. Just so he knows where he's going. See, he's got the lead in his mouth. A lot of people now seem to associate me and Oscar as being some sort of bizarre couple, because everybody wants to make a fuss of him, and then they look at me and say, oh, that you're Oscar's owner, or you're Oscar's dad. And yes, I do get to talk to them, which is very good in a way, but he seems to make me feel happy, give me a reason to get out of the house or out of bed. I mean, you can't be sad when Oscar's around, because even when I'm feeling down or getting stressful, he's brilliant at coming up to me and wagging his tail and put his head on my lap and say, "Oh, come on, you're not feeling down. Come on, you stop it." He is so good at making people feel happy, and in my case, usually hairy, because he always tends to molt all over me when he wants a cuddle. And I would recommend anybody who's ever feeling down or depressed to seriously consider getting a dog, or if not a dog, if you're not a dog, get a pet, because I think they're very therapeutic, and several other people I've talked to in similar situations have agreed that having a pet, particularly one like Oscar, who is very outgoing and friendly, but without being too mad. I mean, he looks like a spaniel on acid or something like that. He seems very sensitive to know how people are feeling, and is always so friendly and happy to see people. It's blooming hard work not to feel happy around him. Things, I guess, started going wrong seriously in our marriage from about 2006 onwards. By the time, that was when my depression and stress was really starting to cause some problems, and yes, I was, at the time, I'd actually started trying to get some help, but it wasn't really helping that much. It was driving a wedge between us, and it was actually destroying our relationship. My wife did her best to try and help by buying me gifts, doing me special meals, or taking me out to places she knew I loved. And yes, it did have some effect, but it was not enough, and it wasn't getting to the fundamental root cause. And eventually it caused her to have something of a nervous breakdown herself. That was in early 2011. So she went into clinic for a few weeks, and then after she came out, we had another holiday together to try and make or break things. But although that actually went quite well, we actually realised by then that my stress and depression had literally destroyed our relationship and was dragging her down with it. So we decided to part and split up, which we did on the best of terms. It was a mutual decision, which we were able to make quite sensibly and rationally. Yes, it did hurt. It hurt tremendously, but at the same time, I couldn't sit back and let my illness destroy. You have to think of it as an illness, because it isn't anything else. My illness not only destroyed our relationship with her, but it was physically destroying her and dragging her down as well. Now, like I said, it wasn't easy. Our daughter, of course, didn't want to take sides, although in the end she stuck by me. My wife found someone else fairly quickly after the amicable split and moved away. And unfortunately, though, I would have liked to have kept in touch, because we did part as friends, and it would have been good for Kirsty, because she moved a long way away. That wasn't possible. Yes, it is very lonely. I do miss having her around. I wouldn't say I get upset now, but I do get extremely wistful and wish things had turned out differently, and wish I had got treatment earlier, because then it would have, I'm thinking it would have been possible to have saved things.
Yes, I do. I believe that one day I will will be where I was, right there, right next to you. And it's hard, the days just seem so dark. The moon, the stars are nothing without you. Your touch, your skin, where do I begin? No words can explain the way I'm missing you. The night, this emptiness, this hole that I'm inside. These tears, they tell their own story. You told me not to cry when you were gone, but the feeling's overwhelming. It's much too strong. Can I lay by your side next to you? And make sure you're alright. I'll take care of you. I don't wanna be here if I can't be with you tonight.
This is what he's like during most of the day. I mean, I could be sitting here listening to the radio and he suddenly decides, oh, you're going to come and cuddle me, aren't you?
Reaching out to you. Can you hear my call?
Will follow me around like this, just in case I have a fall. I have actually fallen on a few occasions.
Hurt that I've been through. I'm missing you like crazy.
You see, he's got the lead in his mouth.
You told me not to cry when you were gone, but the feeling's overwhelming. It's much too strong. Can I lay by your side next to you? And make sure you're alright. I'll take care of you. I don't wanna be here if I can't be with you tonight.
If I actually put my hand up and said, look, I've got depression, it's an illness, help me, before the physical damage had been done, then that is my one regret. I should have got proper professional help earlier.